All right, hello everybody. Hope you had a great weekend. Breaking news from CoinDesk on Yahoo Finance. Amazon shareholders push for minimum 5% Bitcoin allocation. This caught me by surprise, to be honest with you. However, I guess it shouldn't be too surprising considering what we're seeing with other similar sized companies. Amazon's shareholders are urging the company to take a page from MicroStrategy's playbook by diversifying its reserves into Bitcoin to beat inflation and boost shareholder value. This next part is pretty interesting. Though Bitcoin is currently a volatile asset, as Amazon has been throughout its time as history, corporations have a responsibility to maximize shareholder value over the long term as well as the short term. That that's absolutely true. Diversifying the balance sheet by including some Bitcoin solves this problem without taking on too much volatility. At minimum, Amazon should evaluate the benefits of holding some, even just 5% of its assets in Bitcoin, the proposal added. So, for some context here, Amazon stock was extremely volatile in its early times, still is, I suppose you could say. But in the early days, we did see crashes of, I believe, maybe 80, 90%. Of course, we've just seen it surge up. Amazon has actually had a great year, and they have, you know, pushed through a lot of volatility. A lot of this was due to Bezos's vision that the internet would be, where people would be in the future and buy everything. So he made everything store. And when it first came out, people didn't really buy it, believe it. They thought it was a joke. The company wasn't profitable for a while. Now, of course, we are seeing that Amazon is one of the biggest companies in the world with a $2.4 trillion market cap. Only three companies have a larger market cap. So the fact that they're considering buying Bitcoin is extremely interesting. A minimum of 5% would be good because they want to diversify their balance sheet. 5%, even if that goes to zero, wouldn't be too bad. But if that 5% goes up, Bitcoin is up 100 something percent this year. And they do have a responsibility to provide shareholder value over the long term and short term. And we've seen that MicroStrategy has risen 500% versus Amazon's 49% rise. And this emphasizes, the fiduciary duty of Amazon to look into something like Bitcoin. MicroStrategy was, I think, less than 2 billion a few years ago. I think a year or two, and now is sitting over 90, closer to $100 billion. This also comes off of last month, the Microsoft shareholders urging the tech giant to diversify into Bitcoin. This vote is going to happen tomorrow. And honestly, I think this vote might be affected by what we are seeing here with Amazon. Again, did not really expect this to happen. Maybe at some point, but not this quickly. I do think this has to do with Microsoft and their proposal that they're voting on tomorrow. As you can see, Bitcoin's the seventh largest asset in the world. We have Alphabet, Amazon, Microsoft, Nvidia, Apple, and of course, gold. What happens when two out of the five companies, the five only companies, bigger than Bitcoin decide to buy Bitcoin? What happens is these two will begin to eventually outperform. Bitcoin demand will go up, and given its fixed supply, will also go up. So these other companies will either be left behind Bitcoin, Amazon, Microsoft, or they'll be forced to buy Bitcoin, or they'll just fall off this list as other companies like MicroStrategy begin to take over. And here's another look you could see in the past year, like the article said, Amazon has been up, particularly this week, but this year up 56% compared to MicroStrategy's 610%. I think that's a 7x. So we'll see what happens here. Also going to keep an eye out on the shareholder vote tomorrow on Microsoft, but it seems like the corporate dominoes are falling for Bitcoin faster than anyone expected. If you guys like the content, please make sure to subscribe, give the video a like. Thanks, and talk to you soon.